You can't tell me that you didn't think that that was gonna happen. Like I thought Clark was gonna let him eat shit and just cut right through the mountain. I'm like, man, it's still a reference, but then he catches him like the dutiful father that he is. Sorry about missing last week's episode. More or less because I didn't know that the episode had dropped last week. Because when I went into Google Play to see if there was a new episode, Google Play told me that it was the episode from before. So it never updated for me. And when I got the alert for this episode, I noticed that both the episodes were released. So I was more or less watching through last week's episode and this week's episode. So I guess this is going to be a review for this episode, but we're also going to be talking about some of the stuff from last episode. So I believe the last episode was episode 12. That was a filler episode. Or I guess you call it a throwaway episode, because essentially what it does is that it sets up Allie's endgame, which is that we see that Clark has the pendant. He's able to destroy the pendant with Talro, and now she can't bring the convergence that she wishes to bring. But she realizes that basically any Kryptonian has the cellular energy inside of them, which is enough energy for her to generate to more or less collapse both of the portals that separate both the worlds and mush them together and combine them. There were a lot of emotional beats in this episode. I'm still not a fan of this version of Lucy Lang. Um Lucy Lane. More or less because I'm somebody who watched Supergirl from beginning all the way to end. I was more comfortable with the version of Lucy that we got in season 1 of Supergirl, where she was basically the miniature version of her father. Like, she had her shit together, she was leading the DDO or the DEO. She was a boss bitch. She was in charge. And she knew what she wanted, she was going after what she wanted, she was working with Supergirl. Like, everything for her was going great. Superman and Lois has kind of dialed that back and kind of dragged her down. And I didn't like this new iteration of Lucy, which is she's unsure of herself. Because even going back all the way to Smallville, when we were introduced to Lucy, she was more or less the wild child. She was free, but she was headstrong, just like Lois is. And she was able to basically get what she wants. And then she ended up being a miniature version of the dad. So this Lucy being weak and unsure kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm still not a major fan of the fact that she more or less fell into Allie's cult as easily as she did. I think that that's super annoying, but at the exact same time, it made for some compelling shit. Because basically you got to see her view of things, which is Lois coped with their mother leaving by essentially becoming their mom, where, like she said, she was a kid raising a kid and she took care of her younger sister. For Lucy, she thought that Lois being hard on her, plus the abandonment issues of her mom leaving, and the fact that her dad was always at work, it kind of made her feel as though she was baggage and she was holding Lois back. So you can understand where she would probably end up dealing with things like anxiety and depression and what's the other one? Imposter syndrome. Well, I mean, imposter syndrome is bullshit, but it's the best way to describe essentially what she's dealing with, which is that she doesn't feel as though she's worth their love because she thinks that she's a burden. And this episode was basically cracking through the wall of bullshit that Allie had essentially built up for however long, playing this long game to get the pendants to screw over and destroy Lois's career and basically become like a god, cracking through all that bullshit and making everyone see Allie for who she really is. This is also a fantastic villain origin slash backstory episode, because we really got to see more of Allie, like how she built her cult. Because man, it is the effectiveness of the actress that plays Allie that when she's sitting there and she's talking about like feeling as though you're only half and finding a way to merge with your other half and finding basically yourself. I was like, this is some like self-help guru. Wait a minute. Like, I started falling for her shit. I was like, hey, hold on. Wait a second. I was like, I'm not falling for this. You're the villain. God damn it. That's fantastic. I love when an actor can do that. When an actor can pull you in and have you sitting there like, you know what? This shit actually makes a little bit of sense. That's fantastic writing. I also love the fact that both Superman and General Lane, they both went through the ringer this episode, because it always felt like it was John Henry Irons always getting his ass whooped, and he was always the one who ended up in the hospital. It was nice to see, like, it's not nice to see, but it was a breath of fresh air that the brother wasn't the one in the hospital again, or that Natalie wasn't the one in the hospital again. And props to her, building her own fucking suit that's way better than her dad's suit, finding a way in which to polymerize the armor plating using X kryptonite, which makes it like way stronger than his suit was, because he was trying hard as hell to cut through that suit, and that suit was like, no. I also love the fact that her suit, if his suit is basically Iron Man, her suit is more like Rescue, where her suit has more stuff in it to save people's lives. And I think that's dope as hell. And the entire time I was watching it, I was like, the only thing that your suits are missing are capes. John Henry needs a Superman cape, you need a Superman cape, and we need to continue from there. The bonding scene, which, like I said, there's a lot of emotional stuff in this episode. The bonding scene between Clark and both of his sons, and then the disconnect between Clark and both of his sons, which is he has that scene with Jonathan first, where he basically explains that, you know, being a parent means that you want to protect your kids, but at the exact same time, you also have to give them a degree of freedom to make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. And his more or less problem is he tries to protect them so much that he gets angry at their mistakes. So he's going to let Jonathan essentially live a little bit more and learn from his mistakes like an actual teenager would. But then for Jordan, dealing with the fallout of Sarah, which, if you know me, I've said like forever ago that Sarah doesn't deserve Jordan. Not at all. In any way, shape, or form. But moving away from Sarah and getting on both Clark and Jordan, it was great seeing them, basically Clark taking him to learn how to fly. I love the fact that he mentions the Kessler Run. I'm like, Star Wars reference, and then completely goes over Jordan's head. He has no fucking clue what his dad's talking about, and it's like, it's a Star Wars, right? You fucking that was good. I love that entire sequence, as you can see from the intro. That, like, the music's great, his expressions when he's flying is great. It would basically be how, and I really feel as though the great thing about nailing a first flight is making you feel as though that's how you would feel if you were to fly for the first time. That level of exhilaration, and then that sudden shock when you realize you have no fucking clue how to, like, put the brakes on this thing and you're about to crash into something. That's dope as hell. Allie returning and sucking the energy out of Superman, which may or may not make him mortal for a bit. That's also going to be interesting. There have been comic books that have dealt with Superman losing his powers and essentially being a human, and he still goes about essentially being a hero. It'll be interesting to see how long this lasts, because Tal-Rho's out there. Like, he was like, you know, peace out, I'm gonna go find me, like, somebody to fall in love with somewhere on the planet Earth, and he's gone. It'll be interesting to see how they choose to take this story, because it's either he's gonna get his powers back before the finale, or it's gonna be up to the Irons family and Jordan to basically stop Allie. All this is gonna be interesting. It's all up in the air. The finale. Please don't tell me I have to wait again. Do I have to wait again? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is this? What is that? Episode 14? So it's season 2, episode... No, it's not 14. It is episode... Yeah. Episode 14. Release date. Episode 14 is on June 21st. That's not that bad. It's like 2 weeks away, roughly. So we're like almost already there. Like nothing next week and then the week after that, which is fine. I'm just hoping I the only time it pisses me off is when it goes away for like a month and a half and then I forget it's coming back. But this episode was dope as hell. I cannot wait for more. I don't know if this is going to be the season. Is this the season finale? I don't know if this is the season finale. Hold on. How many episodes? How many episodes are in this season? There are 15 no. Yeah, 15 episodes. So we've got 2 more episodes. So we've got not next week, the 21st, which is the week after next, and then the week after that, which is the final episode of this season. Next episode is called World's War Bazaar, which is going to be very interesting. I'm assuming that both our world and the Bizarre world are going to go to war. And then episode 15 is Waiting for Superman. So it's like I said, I don't know whether or not we are going to get Clark back before the finale. It really seems as though it's going to be Jordan and the Irons family teaming up to basically, well, they're not even Jordan and the Irons family. Jordan, the Irons family, and Bizarro World Jonathan basically teaming up to stop Allie from merging both of the worlds. But we'll see. I enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think about this episode. Comment down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. I missed the button. Oh well.